Hey everybody. Temperature's been rising a whole lot here, and with the temperature changes there's been a lot of thunderstorms. So it's been hard to get outside between the heat and the water to have any projects to show you. So apologies for the long wait between videos, but I'm going to give you a bit of an update on the garden here today. And to start with, I want to show you the sunflower just over my shoulder. If you remember from the time-lapse video, I showed you how the bud would go from east to west and follow the sun. But right now the sun's actually back over my right shoulder, setting in the west, and yet the sunflower, now that it's fully bloomed, is still pointing off to the east. So that was just a fun little thing that nature does that I wanted to share with you. So let's check in on the other plants. We did a lot of back and forth on what some of these plants were, and I always knew the left line was lettuce, but it turns out so were some of these ones to the right. When they were germinating, they looked a little bit different. We thought they were something else, so we planted them in that separate row, but come to find out, it's more lettuce. And it's actually Simpson's black-seeded lettuce, which is good for us because we live in a humid, hot area, and it's very resistant to heat. So we have noticed that there's a little ridge on the spine of the leaf that develops little thorns, if you will, and they seem to be more pronounced the hotter it gets outside. So that might all become rabbit food more sooner than later. But we're going to keep harvesting some of the newer shoots right on the inside and make as much use of it as we can. My son's cayenne pepper plants have completely gone away. That's the second year in a row I've tried growing cayenne pepper and it just didn't work. I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong there. I think I'm probably just putting it out too early. Onion, as I understand it, should be a cooler weather plant. These guys keep growing, so we're just going to keep letting them grow. In this area where the onions died off, we added in some lavender. I've never had success getting lavender to germinate. We'll see how this one goes. In some of the areas that nothing ever germinated in or some of the stuff died off, we have added in some new plants. Just like the lavender, this one is cantaloupe. Here are some more new cantaloupes that are sprouting up. You can tell from here we've been adding rabbit manure a little more liberally and generously here lately. I'm going to walk you down this line of peas while I tell you that these are supposed to be a bush variety, which to me, without having done research first, meant that it'll support itself. It's a bush, not a pole or a vining. However, I decided to go ahead and put what cages we had laying around out here. And look at this sucker. It has just exploded and is extremely grateful to have something to climb up on. So I know most of you already knew this, but we wanted to experiment, and we are definitely going with the you must give these things something to climb on. I'll add a description on later, give you the exact variety, but maybe about 4 days ago I noticed this pea, and now it's almost all full up. Very satisfied. What YouTube gardening video would be complete without a close-up on a tomato that's starting to come out? This is our beefsteak. You can see we've added a cage for it as well. There's several blossoms on there, and just looking forward to see what's coming. Use something more than green on my salad, so I hope they come along. We've also planted in some picnic variety watermelon. Got those from Baker Seed. They claim it's a very rare variety. Quite honestly, I got it because it was a smaller size, and the picture they showed made it look a lot more seedless than many of their other heirloom varieties. So hopefully it'll have some of the things that we prefer to have. I'm not a big seed spitter. These are some more cantaloupes that we planted in some bare areas, and probably in the next 2 days we'll go ahead and pluck out the ones that are not doing the best and let the other ones grow out. These we have identified as artichoke. Before we thought it was somewhere those Simpson black-seeded lettuce were, but we're for sure now that these are artichoke. Now we just got to get them to grow. They haven't sprouted any kind of new leaf in quite some time. Our little cucumber guy here, at least I say he's a cucumber. I don't know if you can tell just by looking at leaves the difference between a cucumber or a zucchini, but there he is. Gave him a little something to climb on. We'll see how he's doing. Corn isn't really the prettiest thing to look at necessarily, but we've got about 7 ears growing. So if you're looking to do just a small patch of corn, this was a square garden method. We did 4 stalks in each square foot. and we did like 8 square feet. And we had a big problem when we first put them out here. We didn't have a fence up, and some wildlife got to it. But I'm pretty happy with the pollination rate. So for them being in a straight line, being set up that closely seemed to help. Here's 2 of the broccoli. You can see the one down at the bottom certainly looks a lot better than one at the top. Not sure if that's another ant problem or if I've got something else and all it's going for is the broccoli, but ain't looking so hot. Here's another mystery plant I put in just a week and a half ago. They're doing pretty well. All I can tell you is that I know I purchased these seeds last spring from the county farm co-op, and I couldn't tell just from looking at them what they are, but I am pretty sure they are a pea or bean of a pole variety. So I've put up a little something for them to climb on, since obviously from what we learned with the peas, that's important. Who doesn't love looking at a nice big open sunflower? This guy here right now, he's probably only about 3.5, 4 foot tall. I don't know if that's because of his variety. I'll have to check in on that, or if maybe just because we started it early and then transplanted it, or what the case may be. Something I'll talk about later, we have had an ant infestation on the bottom of the leaves of our sunflower plant. We'll talk about that at the end, so stay tuned. And last but not least, you know, sometimes you just go crazy and start doing things, and we decided, well, I decided, I won't blame my wife on this, to just start throwing our rabbit manure out over on this side of the garden, because eventually I want to expand that entire thing much further out to here and even further. And my thought process here is, well, let's go ahead and get the rabbit manure down, and then later in the year we'll put down some paper and then top dress it and let it sit all winter like we did with that part, since we're so happy with how the soil's looking inside of there. And so when she brought it over here, I thought to myself, well, by golly, I just can't let it sit there. I've got to try to make some use of it. So these just germinated in the last 2 days. They are Big Mac's pumpkins. And if you're ever walking down the grocery store and you see a packet that says organic and pumpkin, don't be impulsive and just pick it up. Read about it first. Because it turns out Big Mac's get to be about 100 pounds. And I'm sure my wife will enjoy the seeds. She's a big pumpkin seed eater. But outside of that, I don't know what I'm going to do with a 6-foot pumpkin. We'll just have to find out later. So the last thing I want to share with you is, you notice there weren't any potato plants in that update. We had every single potato plant completely devoured by ants and grubs. First, notice the ants. They had completely swarmed several of the potato plants. At first I didn't notice them. I just saw the plants turning yellow. Wasn't sure if it was, you know, any of the variety of things that can make a plant yellow. And eventually managed to catch several ants at the base of one of the plants. And if you moved away just a little bit of the wood chips, they were swarming the entire area. And you can find that just about anywhere in here. Right under the wood chips, tons of ants. And normally I don't declare war on ants. I don't like fire ants, I don't like the biting ants, but most ants I'm fine with because they help aerate the soil and they do their little part in the whole ecosystem. But when they're in here and completely throwing the balance off, and the grubs are in here eating away at my little roots, I'm just not going to put up with it anymore. I'm going to introduce some extra firepower into the ecosystem and see if we can't balance it out. We went with the beneficial nematodes because they're organic, if you will, and they can reproduce and just continue the ecosystem. There may be a time where we have to reintroduce nematodes, but certainly a whole lot less than I've got to do any other kind of spray this or add that or whatever. So that's the reason we went with that route. So look forward to giving you an update on how that goes. Appreciate everybody watching. Hopefully it'll cool down a little bit out here and we'll get you some more updates. We've got a whole lot still to go on. The electric fence is got about half the poles up. We've already cleared out some of the area where the wire needs to go, and who knows how many projects are in the middle of the work. So just keep checking back. Please don't forget to subscribe if this is your first time visiting. Subscribing lets you get updates so you don't have to keep checking back. And if you like what you see, please share the videos. We like to spread our information as wide as we can, but we only know so many people. you know a whole lot more, and they know more people. So please share our videos, share our information so that we can help spread the information everywhere, and so more people can come and join the conversation. Thank you all so much. We'll see you next time.